you got core and you've got form. And what we're going to do is we're going to integrate it all. And so there's a couple things I wanted to tell you about. I'm not here by accident. And I'm going to do one thing first because someone requested I do it. And then I'll tell you why I did it, okay? Okay? I did that because on my first lecture, extemporaneously, I went in with this bad migraine, and I never get migraines. And I think, God has a sense of humor because, and again, like another husband, I'll blame it on my wife. She said, this is a great thing, you got to try it. And I said, I'm in really good shape. I eat non-GMO, I eat healthy, I obsess about my diet, I do everything right. Why do I need that? And so the comedy of it is, on the night that I was going to Brooklyn to speak, I had a bad migraine. And so when I got there, I did some core. And at first, like the other doctor was saying, he's like, I don't know if I want to do this. And my 50% of the headache was gone. And so after that, I said, wow, I feel so good. And I did a kick, and then I met the gentleman here this time, and he said, can you do that again? And so, but there was a purpose to that. And just as my wife said, my wife's had scoliosis her whole life, and it's another irony because I'm an osteopathic doctor, and I work with the joints and the bones. So she said, I'm going to try this. And I went in to buy a mattress for her, and we bought a new mattress because her back was bothering her, and she started the core. And she started the sole, and the pain was gone. And I said, So I was trusting her and believing in her completely, but I hadn't had a testimony myself. So at the meeting, the irony was it helped me. So then I had 3 more migraines the next 3 days. And I said, I talk to my Heavenly Father often, and I said, what are we doing here? And every night I took it, and my migraines were gone. Then I just kept taking it, and I didn't have any more migraines. So I believed my wife, and then I believed what it did. And so I was so amazed because, my mother had me taking edible plant courses as a child, and I've been prepared for 40 years to come here. And I've thought about these things, and I had a 4-H garden, and we were organic gardening, and the Boy Scouts, we learned about edible plants. And then I couldn't figure out what to do. I wanted to be an herbalist, a nutritionist, a chiropractor, a massage therapist, a psychiatrist. And then finally I figured out osteopathic medicine. But I will admit that one doctor said, what do they teach in nutrition? And I forgive them because they do not know. But I refused to take the test. I tested out. I said, give me the test. I got a B. Because I just couldn't make myself sit there and hear this when I had already been counseling nutrition and working with patients in clinical practices, had already written a book with a doctor on amino acids. And so truly forgive them. They don't know not what they do. But destroy this temple, and in 3 days, we're going to rebuild it. And 3 days, 3 products, core, and the core is going to be for sustenance. It's green, and then you add the soul and the core, and then with your workout, you even add the substance of branched chain amino acids that are going to be in the form. And I'm going to go through those in detail with you. But why do I have this picture up? Because there's an explosion. This guy is going to go. He's kinetic energy. And so that's a seed. A seed is energy. It's genetic information. It's thousands of years of genetic information. That's epigenetic information. That seed has that information that its ancestors had. And it's stable, and it's protected. It's a warrior's coat, okay? And basically most of the plant substances that I'm going to talk about are really weapons that the plants used to fight against other creatures that they were going to compete with, bacteria and fungus. The Chardonnay plant will make more resveratrol when it's under attack by fungus or bacteria or stressed. And so what do we know about that? Well, they're weapons. They're biological. We even put chrysanthemums extracts on our plants in our organic gardens to protect us. So we know that those Those seeds are protective, they're antioxidant, they can stabilize DNA with ribose, and so we're gonna move on. I'm not gonna read every slide. If you want a copy later, I'll give it to you. So we already know seeds are miraculous, but what do you see about that picture? You see flavanols, anthocyanins, proanthocyanidins, and we can go on the whole list, but basically they're protective substances that protect us from cancer, oxidative stress. So they're the beginning, they're the alpha and the omega, okay? Hence some omega oils. But they're self-contained little spaceships. They can be carried by the wind, the water. They can be carried by animals. We won't get into Kopi Luwak, but they're basically sprouting devices. Now, a baby will struggle out of the womb. The seeds will struggle out of the soil. They have the ability to withstand temperature, time, pressure, and they sprout. There's an explosion, a piece of popcorn exploding, its potential energy, and they have a hard core. And so those hard things, you destroy the temple, and you're reborn with those natural healing and protective properties. Fireworks. What do you see about the fireworks? They're full spectrum. They're multicolored. Resveratrol, anthocyanidins, proanthocyanidins. We have ECGC. We have all those chemicals in plants that are going to protect us. And from the great sequoia to the snapdragon to the plants that eat other insects. We have all of them. They all come from a seed. And so we can't live without them. But, do we want GMO? No. You've damaged the epigenetics, which is going to affect our DNA, okay? Our children are going to be putting these things in our body. So if the body is pure and a pure temple, let's put pure things in it. So the core is basically going to start sustaining our matrix. We can't survive without those proteins. And so why are the seeds stubborn? We talked about it. They've got to resist oxidative stress, but as we break them open, we are going to get this 20 times more potent than the vegetable fruit, all of these extracts that I've already mentioned, okay? Flaxseed oil, superior to it. Why? It's limited in its omega-3, 6, 9 ratio. We have the best matrix. Now, I'm gonna give you a mnemonic to remember. Okay, the mnemonic to remember is seeds, power, protein, catalyst, and I'm gonna go forward. Catalyst for healing, and I'm gonna do that for you with the seeds in front of you. Okay, why don't we want to extract it with chemicals? We don't want xylene and chemicals in our food, and it damages the integrity of the thing we're trying to get out. So we don't want toxic solutes or extracting chemicals like xylene in our food. Heat, well, we all know that when you cook things, you make trans fatty acids. If you high heat cook oils, so, we think about destroying the particles that are necessary for our matrix. Our brain, our cell membranes, as the doctor was talking about, need those fatty acids. We don't want to destroy them. Cold pressed, it's the only alternative. It's the only way to not heat up those substances and damage them. And, when we think about even fish oil of the future is going to have radiation, and it's going to have mercury, and some of the kosher laws talk about not eating certain things. Well, many of the seafood is contaminated. And so we have a pure food source now. They're seeds. They can be controlled, cold pressed, not damaged by industry, not poisoned by industry. And the new paradigm of the future is the industry's changing. And when you look at the cereal boxes, you see this. So what do we see there? We see probably the Nigella seed. Nigella seed, we've talked about it, okay? It's black. And so when we start thinking about bleached things, they've lost their integrity. We've lost the integrity, and then they took the fiber out so it doesn't absorb fat in the gut, it doesn't increase gastric motility, it doesn't give you a sense of fullness, and even the fiber in our gut can absorb toxins and get it out of us. So very important. Healthy oils, again. We have a lot of omega-9s in the human body. We prefer an omega-3 to 6 ratio. And you think about three pathways. We think about cyclooxygenase, lipoxygenase, and arachidonic acid. So those 3 pathways, we're trying to stay away from the cyclooxygenase. We're trying to increase the linoleic and linolenic essential fatty acids. And I'll speak to you specifically about which plants they come from. Okay, but we want to lean towards monounsaturated, polyunsaturated, get the DHA from the plants, which I'm going to review. Funny thing, okay, there's some ironic information on this sheet. You see a seed, what is that? Well, it's soy, and most soy is GMO. What is soy also have in it? Well, in our society, we have a lot of obesity. Our body fat makes estrogen. It's a carcinogen. It's called estrone. It converts to dihydrotestosterone and can cause hair loss in men and women and can increase prostate cancer in men and inflammation. That estrone also increases breast cancer and uterine cancer. There's the soy. It's got 4 estrogens in it. We don't want it. So if we can get the omega oils, the American Cancer Society talks about prevention of cardiovascular disease and cancer, and the seeds are a clean source of protein with the right ratio of amino acids, not trans fatty acids, not estrogens, which are going to give us cancers. Okay. What do we see again? Black, brown. Okay. We see Nigella. We see that's the Chardonnay, and then we see the cranberry. And so we can get minerals. I mean, that's important. We can get minerals from a lot of things. But the beauty is we can get the minerals and we can get the omega oils that are going to, the right ratio of omega oils that are going to decrease inflammation. Inflammation is the precursor for degenerative tissue, cancers, autoimmune disease. As one of the doctors was saying, fat is the precursor for interleukins and cytokines that cause inflammation. Anti-inflammatory oxidants, we talked about it, the phenols, the cyanidins, the procyanidins. These antioxidants can protect us, and by cold pressing it, we're not going to lose the integrity of those substances. Now, I'm going to give you that mnemonic again. Now that you can see the can you see that pointer? Okay, Sacha, S, seeds, powerful protein, catalyst, seeds, powerful proteins, catalyst for complete healing. Okay, so if you remember that, that's one way to remember these seeds. Okay, so thinking about it, we have the seed oils, antioxidant potential. We'll talk a little bit about pea protein. Peas, my daughters, I always enjoy seeing them picking the peas out of the garden and sitting in the garden and eating them. And we love the peas because they can increase lean body mass. They can help even with short-term appetite suppression. We don't get a large glycemic spike. And we even know that they work synergistically with the cranberry polyphenols, okay? So in addition, the substances in them that can bind cholesterol are helpful to our gut. And, essentially, if we get the natural oils from the whole product, we're lowering cholesterol with pea. And then I'm going to review the other seeds, and especially Sacha. And Sacha has a very high content of omega oils, okay? And concentration of omegas and 3s, okay? Remember, 9s are pro-inflammation, so we want to, our diet is burgeoning with it. We really don't need to get a lot of them unless you have some kind of metabolic deficiency. So it can promote weight loss, okay? High levels of tryptophan. What does that mean? Well, tryptophan converts to serotonin. Serotonin has an antidepressant property in the body. Serotonin controls our nerves from firing. And so in the bigger paradigm, no nerve cell fires in the body without first a quantum release of calcium. So everything is happening simultaneously at incremental levels. And so we have serotonin, acetylcholine, GABA, and dopamine. Serotonin is calming, serenity tone. So the serotonin is promoted, and you can make more melatonin. So why not something that keeps you from being depressed or anxious, but it's a food nutraceutical, and you don't have side effects. Yeah, so you have the antioxidant properties, you have less heart disease, you have a more calm brain, which affects the heart rhythm and affects your contractility throughout the body, okay? So, and we can repair cells, okay? Pumpkin protein, they call them the cercubitin family. Well, we know that they can help us with parasites, they can lower blood sugar, they can increase our protein intake. Amazing source of protein, 63%. Thanks. So, high in iron. I'll give you some comedy relief. I'm trying to grow one of those big pumpkins, so I'll send you pictures if they actually come out. But we love pumpkins. Pumpkins are a great source of protein, and if you eat the pumpkins, that's great. But in using our products, why do I like this? Because when we think about these products that you have in the convenience stores, I don't want them. I want something now because I know I'm going for a workout. I want to spend more time with my children than putting something in my bullet or my Vitamix. So this protein, easily soluble. I can drink it quickly. I take my other 2 packets. I go to the gym and I can get back with my daughters and my family. So it's ease and it's high quality. And so in the pumpkin, we have chlorophyll. We have a natural alkalizing effect. So if we increase the alkalinity of the body, that acidity is related to kidney stones. It's related to increased contractility of the muscles. It's increased to increased heart problems, arrhythmias, brain dysrhythmias, electrical imbalance in the body. So we have a balancing effect on the brain and the nervous system. We have decreased inflammation. We have the ability to regulate blood sugars. And so pumpkin, low in the glycemic index. It's not surprising. It's brilliant to put that in a combination with the other seeds, okay? And again, tryptophan, it's coming up again. Tryptophan, natural antidepressant, and serotonin, it has 14 different receptors. Some of them increase blood flow, some of them are inhibitory, and some of them are stimulatory. So depending on which receptors. Cranberry, we know a lot about cranberry. We know by the color that it has the antioxidants we want. It's protective of the body. It's anti-proliferative, even can prevent cancer. We know, as the doctor said, can prevent H. pylori in the gut, and H. pylori has little legs called fimbria. Well, so do certain E. coli that can stick in the urinary tract. So we have at least 2 body systems, and then if you add the branched chain amino acids, it's amazing. Even the branched chain amino acids. Now this is an amazing thing. One of the pearls of all of my research is that tumor necrosis factor is something that's high in rheumatoid arthritis and rheumatologic degenerative diseases. We know that when that substance is up, we use up more branched chain amino acids, which are leucine, isoleucine, and valine. Okay, so branched chain amino acids have a future for us, maybe getting a grant and doing research to show that we can help rheumatologic disorders. And they're also using branched chain amino acids in people with kidney problems. So less of a stress on the kidneys. Speaking of kidneys, the hemp seed, very useful for the kidneys, protective of the kidneys. And the Form supplement is going to have a place in the world of people who are treating themselves and want to get off of diuretics, and they want to de-inflame. The kidneys there's a lot of fat in the kidneys. They're pretty fatty tissue. I'd say, at least a half of our patients, when we test them, they have some, cystic changes in the kidneys. So the future is de-inflaming the body, getting the essential fatty acids without overworking the kidneys, Branched chains don't overwork the kidneys. Not a lot of ammonia-like substances. Fatty acids, again, more essential fatty acids than any other nut or seed, including flax. I mean, flax is high up there, but again, the ratio is not that great. Greatest vegetarian source of protein, hemp. Chia. Chia, we know that it helps the digestive tract. It's got, 2.5% more protein than kidney beans. And if you look down, 3 times more than blueberries, 3 times more than iron in spinach, 6 times more than calcium than milk. Well, we worry. Is there bovine hormones, bovine growth hormones? So what do I want to eat? I want to eat the seeds. I have less work for my kidneys. I have less hormones. I have less saturated fat. And so 15 times more magnesium than broccoli. Amazing. Amazing. And then, we worry about the fish, whether it's farmed or it's fresh. And even the doctor's saying he's vegetarian. I'm worried. I'm moving towards vegetarian, which I thought I would never do. If you look at this right here, okay, we can't build muscle without branched chain amino acids. And so, again, valine, isoleucine, and leucine. And so if we look at the molecule, we've got amino acids, and you've got an NH group, which is an ammonia group. All proteins have an ammonia group with a nitrogen with a hydrogen attached. And so they're the building blocks of all of our proteins. We can't build body matrix without it. We can't make connective tissue. We can't make neurotransmitters in our brain without it. So, these amino acids are critical. And, phenylalanine, valine, tyrosine, threonine, isoleucine, methionine, histidine, alanine, leucine, lysine, glutamic acid, asparagine, and glutamate. And those are the ones I can remember. But this protein has the most complete complement of amino acids for our body. And so this is the pièce de résistance. So now we have soul, we have core, and we have form. And there is nothing equivalent, okay? And so I will tell you, there is no tripod with 2 legs. There's 3 legs, and we need this matrix. And I'm going to tell you that you have to seize the day, because we don't have another opportunity. This is the day. If you didn't do it today, you're not getting it back. So I shall not live to regret. And I tripped over soul, and I started talking to people, and the response was so great that it just spread itself. And so I was very impressed at the response. And so if I want to wrap up, if you remember the colors, we need the colors in our diet. And if you remember the mnemonic, okay, and we'll make sure that that gets sent to you over the RAIN app. But essentially, we have the Sacha, which is seeds. See if I can remember it. And we have the powerful protein healing catalyst for change. Welcome.